What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what is happening, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is down 0.85%, 232 the low, 241 the high. And so today is the day of their earnings, Q1 earnings after hours. So I'm going to make this video kind of short and sweet, but you are seeing a lot of manipulation happening with Lucid. So ultimately, you are seeing shorts increase 6.72 million shares, and that did happen exactly at the peak. So this 241 mark right here is a key resistance level, and obviously shorts do want to ensure going into Lucid's earnings that Lucid is below that point, more on a strategic technical standpoint. So 241 is going to be a key level to watch for, but as far as shorts though, 28.94% of the free floats being shorted works out to be 356.23 million shares. Cost to borrow minimum is negative, meaning that there is brokers out there physically paying people to short Lucid. Nothing crazy because as an annual rate, so negative 0.01% is very small, but still it's kind of the meaning behind it that there is certain level of manipulation happening. But one thing did come out yesterday, and I just saw the article this morning, and it kind of justifies why institutions might have sold yesterday. So for those of you that watched my video yesterday, there was a abnormal amount of institutions selling for whatever reason, and this did come out. So Lucid's next Gravity production batch reportedly limited to 87 units. And what institutions and retail investors really care about is the ramp up of the Gravity. And so this is a potential red flag. But if you actually look at the article title itself, then yeah, it's kind of worrying. But if you read the actual article, all of this is based on a Reddit post. So definitely a lot of FUD. And this individual, Claudio, has been called out numerous times on Twitter. And he's a big EV guy, and so he posts a lot of primarily Chinese stuff, but he does dabble with Lucid. And when he does, it is very bearish and it has like a negative tone to it, such as this. So in my opinion, maybe institutions did sell out yesterday because of this, because ultimately, Lucid, and not just Lucid, but any company unveiling their earnings, there's a couple of different things, right? Typically the key metrics, so earnings per share, revenue are big ones, but as of late, market is very much placing a lot of importance on future guidance. So such as in Lucid's case, is there licensing agreements? To what extent does Lucid forecast that the tariffs are going to cause damage? Because even last earnings, just the Canadian and Mexican tariffs, because at the time was the big one, that was going to cause a 15 to 20% hit to their margins, not even now countering China. So we'll have to find out exactly from their supply chain, like how damaging are all these tariffs to Lucid. And I feel like that's what analysts are really going to focus on, because last earnings, you did have analysts somewhat hypnotized by Peter's absence. And I think all of us were. We're all just very curious. So analysts probably didn't really hit Lucid as hard as they probably should have on a lot of the key topics, but rather they focused on Peter. So this time around, they're going to really hit Lucid hard. So Lucid needs to make sure everything is like airtight. And so as far as the key metrics though, negative 23 cents for the earnings per share. Over the last 90 days, you have 2 positive and 2 negative revisions to that earnings per share. For the revenue though, it did go down over the last week, so that's kind of a positive thing. So lowering the bar for Lucid to kind of easily hit, hopefully, but 246.16 million for the revenue. So again, that's kind of something to keep note of. But moving over to the options, 182,000 in calls, 57,000 in puts, 52% of all the options being done today are bearish in nature. And of the calls that are being done, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that 3 to 350. So the optimism has definitely died down quite a lot today. For whatever reason, the day of their earnings doesn't make sense, but the bears are seem to be adamant that it is going to be sub $2. So just we'll have to wait and see what does come. But the current implied move for Lucid's earnings is 11.07%, and that's roughly a 26-27% move in either direction. So potentially on the low end, you could see it kind of testing this S1, so $2.18. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Again, I highly recommend a lot of you to tune in to the live stream during the earnings. So I'll be going over the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I do have also 𝗖𝗎𝗓𝗧. I frequently bring him bring up his posts. He's going to be joining me as well, so definitely worthwhile to tune in and everything. But anticipate also at the same time a new rush of analyst ratings. So last one did come out yesterday. For whatever reason, it doesn't logically make that much sense, but you should see probably tomorrow another about 5 or 6 or whatever else. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Are you buying the dip today? Are you selling? What's your general thoughts? And when it comes down to Lucid for their earnings, what are you going to be paying attention to in order for them to be seen as like a success? Is it just them saying that they're going to ramp up in the Gravity? Is it a certain level of demand? Is it moving up the mid-size based on possibly the Nikola facility, the acquisition? What are you going to be really paying attention to? So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And one final thing, pop over to my Discord, completely free. A lot of good people talking about stocks, options, crypto, everything that you ever need in life. So with all that said, appreciate all of you watching.